Okay, so good morning, and I know a lot of people of you are on phones, so can I have your undivided attention just for a few minutes? I promise. I'm not going to take so much of your time. It's just going to be 10 minutes because that's all I need to dazzle. So let's get started. Good morning. It's an honor to be up here, and I will be honest, a little intimidating also because this is a room that is filled with educators and innovators. You guys are the people who shape lives, change futures, and somehow survive the chaos of glitter in classroom. Speaking of chaos, let me ask you something. How many of you have ever sat through a professional development training session and thought, oh man, if I don't start grading those student papers, I'm so going to lose it? No judgment. We have all been there. But here's the thing. What if learning didn't have to feel that way? What if the podcast that you listen to on your drive to school, what if the article that you skimmed through over lunch break, or that TEDx video that you watched on Classroom Hacks counted as professional development? That's the idea behind Ippy Dippy. It's not just a platform. It's a mindset that says learning matters. It happens everywhere and it matters. Now, let's talk about how we actually learn. How many of you have figured out a genius way to manage classroom chaos? Not from a workshop, but say from sheer desperation. For example, I once learned that if you give glitter to students for an art project, you're going to spend the next decade finding it in your shoes, in your car, and possibly in your hair. And that's a lesson I didn't need a certificate to remember. So, and yet, as teachers, we're always learning through experiments, small wins, and yes, epic failures. But here's the problem. Most of that learning goes unrecognized. It doesn't show up in our PD hours. It doesn't show up in our promotions or anywhere official. Ippy Dippy, my friends, changes that. It takes all these informal moments, the podcasts, the YouTube rabbit holes, the what if I tried this ideas, and turns them into something measurable. Because let's be real, your best ideas probably didn't come from a 3-hour seminar. They probably came from that light bulb moment in a middle of a chaotic day. And guess what? That learning matters. Now, speaking of learning in unexpected places, let me tell you about my 9-year-old son, Madhav. So one morning, he woke up with a very serious look on his face, and he said, "Mom, I'm starting a business." So naturally, I assumed that this was a code for, hey, can we buy more Legos? So I asked, what kind of business? And his answer, maybe mowing lawn or something cooler. And after a lot of brainstorming, some failed ideas, and a very messy kitchen, we came up with the business Safari Bites. It's a business that combines culture, histories, and healthy cooking classes for kids. It wasn't a smooth sailing. There were plenty of burnt recipes, late-night research sessions, and moments where we thought, hey, is this even a good idea? But here's what my son Madhav taught me. The best ideas don't come up fully formed. They grow when you're willing to experiment, fail, and try again. And that's what Ippy Dippy is about, celebrating the messy, the surprising, and completely unpolished process of learning. I'm just going to take a sip of water. Next year, I'll have an assistant. I just feel it's so dry in Las Vegas, so excuse my mini interferences. Now, let's pause for a moment and talk about what it really means to be a teacher today. Raise your hand if you've ever graded papers at midnight while eating leftover pizza from your kid's lunchbox, or if you've made lesson plans during soccer practice. Yeah, I've done that. So teachers don't just teach, they juggle. You're balancing lesson plans, parent meetings, and school events, while also worrying about your own families, your health, and sometimes, let's be honest, just remembering to drink water. And then there's that expectation overload where you're supposed to be curriculum experts, cheerleaders, counselors, and tech specialists, behavioral specialists, sometimes all in the same day. It's no wonder that 44% of the teachers leave the profession within 5 years. It's not because they're not passionate, it's because they're exhausted. But here's the thing, they're not burnt out from teaching, they're burnt out, from everything else that comes with it. And that's where IPDP steps in. We know that teachers don't have extra hours to sit through workshops that feel so disconnected from their reality. That's why IPDP lets teachers earn professional development hours on the go while they're driving, while they're cooking, while they're folding their laundry. It's learning that fits into life, not the other way around. Now, let's get personal. Every teacher has that one student who changed their perspective forever. Maybe it was that shy student who wouldn't raise their hand, but after weeks of encouragement, they finally stood up and shared their ideas. Or maybe it was that struggling reader who avoided books until you found that one story that made their eyes light up and suddenly they couldn't put it down. Teachers don't just teach, they build confidence. And isn't that what professional development is supposed to support? Growth that leads to moments like these, the kind that stick with students for a lifetime. My friends, IPDP isn't just about teachers. It's about the students they inspire. Across industries, micro-learning, bite-sized lessons designed for busy people, it's becoming the new standard for growth. And let's face it, teachers are busy people, and that's why IPDP is designed to make learning flexible, personalized, and convenient. So instead of forcing teachers into one-size-fits-all PD models, it turns podcast, quick videos, and classroom experiments into measurable growth. We're not just following trends, we are leading them. Now, I want to leave you with this closing thought. Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. That is the spirit of IPDP, recognizing the learning you're already doing and making it count, not just for PD hours, but for the impact it has on your students' lives. As someone who was honored to join IPDP later as a co-founder, I stand here not as a creator, but as a servant to its mission, a mission that values the messy, the imperfect, and the often hilarious ways we learn and grow. So my friends, here is my challenge for you. Try out IPDP, share it with your colleagues. Take the first step to recognize the learning that you are already doing. And if you're not a teacher, if you're just an executive, if you're a friend, community member just here to see me rock, still share this with your school district, share it with your schools, share it in your communities. Because the world doesn't need perfect teachers. It just needs real ones who keep showing up, keep learning, and keep inspiring. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your laughter. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our CEO and founder, Seamus O'Hara, whose vision and leadership brought IPDP to life. I know we don't have much time, but I just wanted to put a face to the name. So Seamus O'Hara, come join us quickly. And just so you know, he's also my best friend.
I have a feeling that I'm going to be that assistant next year.
You know what? Why wait for next year? Let's just make him now. But if you guys have any questions about how the platform works or how it can support your growth, this is the person you want to speak to. Thank you so much again, my friends. Let's keep learning. Let's keep growing and maybe even finding ways to make glitter slightly less terrifying. Thank you.